There comes a time in every woman's life when the lessons she's learned and the experiences she's had start to reveal a deeper understanding of herself. In the beginning, you are often driven by external pressures, family, society, friends, constantly looking for approval, affirmation, and validation from the world around you. But as life progresses, the truth you discover may come too late. Today, let us explore 7 critical lessons that many women learn too late in life and how these realizations can transform the trajectory of their journey. Self-worth is a deeply personal and intrinsic quality, yet many women spend much of their lives seeking validation from the world around them. From childhood, we are conditioned to seek approval, whether from parents, peers, society, or even romantic partners. The desire to be accepted and valued by others often takes precedence over the understanding that true worth comes from within. Over time, the pursuit of external validation can cause a sense of insecurity, self-doubt, and frustration. The truth, however, is that the most significant source of validation comes from recognizing your own inherent value, independent of external opinions. The concept of self-worth goes beyond superficial attributes or accomplishments. It's not about what you look like or what you have. It's about understanding that as a person, you are valuable, worthy, and enough just as you are. The challenge lies in disconnecting your sense of worth from the opinions of others, which is often difficult in a world that constantly compares, judges, and rewards outward appearances or achievements. For many women, the journey towards self-worth is long and winding. They may find themselves looking to others for affirmation, constantly striving to meet external standards of success and beauty. This often leads to exhaustion, frustration, and a deep feeling of inadequacy when they inevitably fall short of these standards. In relationships, career choices, and even personal endeavors, the desire for validation can be overwhelming. Women often find themselves sacrificing their own needs, desires, and values in an attempt to gain approval, only to realize that it's never truly fulfilling. The praise they receive is fleeting, and the void they feel continues to grow. The problem with relying on external validation is that it is fragile and unreliable. People's opinions can change in an instant, and what was once considered a success can quickly be forgotten. The moment you place your worth in the hands of others, you give away your personal power. When external validation is your primary source of self-worth, you are left at the mercy of those around you, constantly seeking affirmation that may never be consistent or satisfying. To overcome this, it's essential to develop the ability to validate yourself. Recognizing that your worth does not depend on how others perceive you is the first step in reclaiming your power. Self-validation means accepting and appreciating yourself without the need for external approval. It's about acknowledging your strengths, understanding your weaknesses, and still loving yourself fully, regardless of what others think or say. One of the first ways to begin nurturing self-worth is through self-awareness. Spend time reflecting on your unique qualities, talents, and experiences. Understand what makes you who you are and embrace those aspects of yourself. Self-reflection helps you connect with your inner truth and can guide you in making decisions that align with your authentic self, rather than trying to meet someone else's expectations. Another critical step is to set boundaries and honor your own needs. When you place your worth in others' hands, you may find yourself overextending or sacrificing your own well-being in the process. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect and reinforces the belief that your needs matter. It's about saying no when necessary and prioritizing your health, time, and peace. Learning to say no without guilt is a powerful tool in preserving your sense of self-worth and maintaining a balanced life. Practicing gratitude is another important way to reinforce self-worth. Take time each day to acknowledge the positive aspects of your life, including your personal qualities, your achievements, and your progress. Gratitude shifts the focus away from external validation and helps you recognize the value that already exists within you. It allows you to see the abundance in your life rather than focusing on what you don't have or what others think of you. Surrounding yourself with positive influences is crucial for building and maintaining self-worth. People who genuinely support, uplift, and encourage you can help reinforce the belief that you are worthy of love and respect. Cultivate relationships with those who accept you for who you are, rather than those who place unrealistic expectations on you. It's important to remember that true validation comes from people who value you for your authenticity, not your ability to meet their demands or ideals. Finally, remember that self-worth is not something that can be given or taken away by others. It is an internal state that is cultivated over time through self-acceptance, self-love, and a commitment to living authentically. No amount of praise, accolades, or approval from others can define your value. Your worth is unshakable and everlasting as long as you remain connected to the truth of who you are. The moment you stop seeking validation from others and begin affirming yourself, you take back your personal power and reclaim your right to live confidently and authentically. In the end, the most important relationship you have is the one you have with yourself. It is not about perfection or living up to someone else's expectations, but about embracing who you are and recognizing that you are enough. When you learn to value yourself, to recognize your own worth, you no longer seek external validation to fill a void. Instead, you radiate a confidence and strength that comes from knowing your own value no matter who is watching or what they say. Setting boundaries is one of the most powerful tools we have for maintaining our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. It is a practice that allows us to honor our needs, desires, and values while respecting those of others. However, for many, establishing and maintaining boundaries can be a difficult task. We are often taught to prioritize others over ourselves, to give endlessly, and to avoid conflict at all costs. But in doing so, we risk losing touch with who we are, depleting our energy, and inviting unnecessary stress into our lives. The power of setting boundaries lies in the ability to protect our peace, create balance, and maintain a sense of control over our own lives. Boundaries are essential for self-preservation. Without them, we are at the mercy of others' demands, expectations, and behaviors. When we fail to set clear limits, we may find ourselves overwhelmed by the needs of others, feeling constantly drained and even resentful. This often leads to burnout, frustration, and a deep sense of dissatisfaction. Boundaries, however, allow us to define where our responsibility ends and where others begins, creating space for us to nurture our own needs and goals. The importance of boundaries becomes particularly evident in relationships. Whether with family, friends, romantic partners, or colleagues, setting boundaries ensures that relationships remain healthy and respectful. It is crucial to communicate clearly what is acceptable and what is not, and to stand firm in those limits. This allows for more honest, open communication and reduces the likelihood of misunderstandings or feelings of being taken advantage of. Healthy boundaries foster mutual respect, trust, and understanding, creating a foundation for deeper, more meaningful connections. One of the main reasons people struggle with setting boundaries is the fear of rejection or conflict. Many fear that by saying no or asserting their limits, they will upset others or damage their relationships. However, the truth is that boundaries are not about rejecting others, they are about taking responsibility for your own well-being. When you set boundaries, you are teaching others how to treat you. It is not selfish to prioritize your needs, in fact, it is an act of self-respect. By setting clear limits, you create a healthier dynamic where everyone's needs can be acknowledged and met in a balanced way. Setting boundaries also requires us to be honest with ourselves. Often we are unaware of our own limits until we are pushed too far. We may say yes to things we don't want to do, overcommit ourselves, or ignore our own feelings in the name of pleasing others. However, this can lead to feelings of resentment and overwhelm. When we take the time to reflect on our needs, values, and limits, we gain clarity on what we are willing to accept and what we are not. This self-awareness allows us to act in alignment with our true desires rather than being driven by external pressures. Learning to set boundaries also involves learning to say no. Saying no can be one of the hardest things to do, especially for those who are people pleasers or have a fear of disappointing others. However, saying no is an act of empowerment. It allows us to conserve our time, energy, and resources for the things that matter most to us. When we say no to something that does not align with our values or well-being, we are saying yes to our own health, happiness, and peace of mind. The power of setting boundaries is also evident in the way it impacts our personal growth. Boundaries help us stay focused on our goals, prevent distractions, and protect our time and energy for what is truly important. Without boundaries, it is easy to get caught up in the demands of others, to lose sight of our priorities, and to put our dreams on hold. By setting clear limits, we ensure that we are investing in ourselves and our future rather than constantly giving to others at the expense of our own growth. In addition, Setting boundaries is a crucial part of emotional well-being. Emotional boundaries protect us from being manipulated, controlled, or exploited by others. They allow us to maintain a sense of emotional independence, to avoid absorbing others' negativity or drama, and to safeguard our mental health. By setting emotional boundaries, we can avoid becoming overwhelmed by other people's emotions and instead respond from a place of calm, clarity, and compassion. This emotional balance is key to navigating life's challenges without becoming consumed by them. It is important to recognize that setting boundaries is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. As we evolve and grow, our boundaries may shift, and we must remain flexible and open to adjusting them as needed. Setting boundaries is a continual practice of self-awareness, self-respect, and self-love. It requires us to listen to our inner voice, to trust our instincts, and to honor our needs in every situation. In conclusion, the power of setting boundaries is transformative. It is the key to maintaining balance, nurturing relationships, and protecting our well-being. By setting clear, healthy boundaries, we reclaim control over our lives, protect our time and energy, and create space for personal growth. Boundaries allow us to live in alignment with our values, preserve our peace, and show up as our best selves for the people and pursuits that matter most. When we embrace the power of boundaries, we are not only taking care of ourselves, but we are also creating the foundation for more fulfilling, meaningful, and respectful relationships with others. Time is a finite and precious resource, one that we can never reclaim once it has passed. It is the most valuable asset we possess, as it shapes the course of our lives, defines our priorities, and ultimately determines our success or failure. We often hear the phrase, time is money, but time is far more valuable than money. While we can earn money again, once time is lost, it is gone forever. Time is a gift from God, a resource that must be stewarded wisely. Understanding its value and learning to manage it effectively can lead to greater fulfillment, purpose, and accomplishment in life. We live in a world where distractions are everywhere. In an age of constant connectivity, social media, and the demands of modern life, it can be easy to lose track of time. We may spend hours scrolling through our phones, engaging in trivial conversations, or putting off important tasks. The pressure to do more, be more, and achieve more can leave us feeling overwhelmed and drained. However, the key to mastering our lives and achieving our goals is not in doing more, but in doing what matters most with the time we have. One of the first steps in valuing time is recognizing that it is a limited resource. Every day brings us closer to the end of our lives, and none of us knows how much time we have left. For this reason, it is crucial to make conscious choices about how we spend our time. We must learn to prioritize the things that align with our purpose, values, and long-term goals, rather than succumbing to the pressure of short-term distractions and fleeting pleasures. Effective time management requires clarity of purpose. When we know what truly matters to us, we can make better decisions about how to allocate our time. Time spent on things that do not contribute to our growth or fulfillment is time wasted. Often we get caught up in the busyness of life and lose sight of what is truly important. We may invest hours in activities that bring us no closer to our dreams, such as procrastinating or engaging in unhealthy habits. By focusing on what truly matters, we free ourselves from the trap of mindless busyness and redirect our energy toward what will lead to a more fulfilling and successful life. Another essential aspect of managing time effectively is learning the art of saying no. In a world that constantly demands our attention, it is easy to become overwhelmed by the requests and expectations of others. We may feel obligated to say yes to every invitation, every project, or every task, even when it takes us away from our true priorities. However, saying yes to everything means saying no to the things that matter most. It is essential to set boundaries and protect our time from unnecessary distractions and commitments that do not serve our purpose. Saying no is not a rejection of others, but an affirmation of our own values and priorities. One of the biggest challenges in managing time is overcoming procrastination. We all have moments when we delay important tasks, often due to fear, self-doubt, or a lack of motivation. Procrastination can steal precious time and prevent us from achieving our goals. The key to overcoming procrastination is taking action, even when it feels uncomfortable. By breaking tasks into smaller, manageable steps and taking consistent action, we can build momentum and make steady progress toward our goals. The more we commit to using our time wisely, the less time we will waste on procrastination and distractions. It is also important to recognize the value of rest and recovery in our time management. Many people mistakenly believe that the more we work and the harder we push ourselves, the more we will achieve. However, overworking ourselves can lead to burnout, fatigue, and a decline in our overall well-being. Time spent resting and recharging is just as important as time spent working toward our goals. Rest allows us to restore our energy, regain focus, and come back to our task with a renewed sense of clarity and purpose. When we prioritize rest alongside work, we set ourselves up for greater productivity and success in the long run. Time is also an opportunity for growth and personal development. The way we spend our time reflects our priorities and commitment to our own growth. Investing time in learning new skills, expanding our knowledge, and developing our character leads to greater self-awareness and personal fulfillment. Time spent in reflection, prayer, and meditation helps us connect with our deeper purpose and gain clarity on our path. By dedicating time to our personal growth, we lay the foundation for greater success, not only in our careers and relationships, but also in our spiritual and emotional well-being. Moreover, time spent with loved ones is one of the most valuable investments we can make. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it is easy to overlook the importance of quality time with family, friends, and community. However, relationships are the heart of life, and the time we invest in building and nurturing them is never wasted. Whether it is sharing a meal, having a deep conversation, or simply spending time together in silence, the moments we create with others are the ones that bring us lasting joy and fulfillment. In conclusion, time is a precious and irreplaceable resource. It is the currency of life, and how we choose to spend it determines the quality of our experiences, our relationships, and our ultimate success. By recognizing the value of time and learning to manage it wisely, we can create a life filled with purpose, fulfillment, and meaning. Time is a gift, and it is our responsibility to use it in alignment with our values, our goals, and our higher purpose. When we do so, we will not only make the most of our time, but also experience the true richness that life has to offer. Happiness is often seen as something that happens to us, a result of external circumstances or the actions of others. We look to our relationships, careers, achievements, and material possessions to bring us joy, believing that if we attain these things, happiness will naturally follow. However, the truth is that happiness is not something that can be given to us or taken away by others. It is our responsibility, a state of being that is within our control and shaped by how we choose to respond to the world around us. One of the fundamental truths of life is that we are the architects of our own emotional state. While external circumstances can certainly influence our mood, they do not define our happiness. True happiness comes from within, from the way we perceive ourselves in the world, and from how we manage our thoughts, emotions, and actions. It is a mindset, a choice that we make every day to prioritize our well-being and inner peace, regardless of what happens outside of us. The first step in taking responsibility for our happiness is understanding that we cannot rely on others or outside events to make us happy. It is easy to fall into the trap of thinking that if only someone would treat us better, if we could just achieve that promotion, or if we had the perfect relationship, we would finally be happy. But this mindset puts our happiness in the hands of others and leaves us powerless. Instead, we must recognize that our happiness is a reflection of our internal state, not a result of external validation. Happiness is deeply tied to our mindset and perspective on life. The way we view the world and ourselves determines the way we experience life. A person who focuses on the negative aspects of life, focusing on what is lacking or what has gone wrong, will find it difficult to feel happy, no matter how much success they achieve. On the other hand, a person who practices gratitude and shifts their focus to the positive aspects of life, no matter how small, will experience a deeper sense of fulfillment and joy. The more we practice looking for the good in our lives, the more our perspective changes, and we begin to see happiness in the simplest moments. Part of taking responsibility for our happiness involves letting go of the past. Holding on to past hurt, regret, or resentment prevents us from fully embracing the present and all the possibilities it holds. When we carry the weight of past disappointments, mistakes, and grudges, we are giving away our power to those events and people. We are allowing them to control our emotional state, keeping us stuck in a cycle of pain and unhappiness. To take responsibility for our happiness, we must learn to release the past, forgive others and ourselves, and focus on the present moment. The present is where true happiness lives, and it is the only moment we have the power to change. Another crucial aspect of taking responsibility for our happiness is learning to set boundaries. Many people spend their lives seeking to please others, often at the expense of their own happiness. They may say yes to things they do not want to do or tolerate situations that drain them emotionally, all because they are afraid of conflict or rejection. However, sacrificing our well-being for the sake of others' comfort is a recipe for unhappiness. Setting healthy boundaries is not about being selfish or rigid, it is about honoring ourselves and protecting our peace. By learning to say no when necessary and making choices that support our mental, emotional, and physical well-being, we take control of our happiness. Self-care is another important aspect of personal responsibility for happiness. We cannot expect to be happy if we are neglecting our needs, whether that be our physical health, emotional well-being, or spiritual growth. Happiness is not about seeking external pleasures or distractions, but about cultivating a deep sense of inner peace and contentment. This requires taking time to nourish ourselves, to engage in activities that bring us joy, and to prioritize rest and relaxation. Self-care is not a luxury, it is a necessity for a balanced and happy life. When we invest in our well-being, we replenish our energy and create space for happiness to flow naturally. Furthermore, taking responsibility for our happiness involves embracing our own uniqueness and stepping into our purpose. We are all created with gifts, talents, and passions that are meant to be expressed in the world. When we align our lives with our purpose and live authentically, we experience a sense of fulfillment that no external achievement or material possession can provide. Happiness is not about conforming to the expectations of others or living according to someone else's definition of success. It is about discovering who we truly are, embracing our gifts, and contributing to the world in a way that is meaningful to us. When we live in alignment with our true selves, happiness becomes a natural byproduct. It is also important to acknowledge that happiness is not a constant state. There will be times when we face challenges, setbacks, or difficult emotions. Life is not always easy, and it is unrealistic to expect to feel happy all the time. However, taking responsibility for our happiness means recognizing that we have the ability to choose how we respond to life's challenges. We can choose to see obstacles as opportunities for growth, to learn from our mistakes, and to find peace in the midst of difficulty. Even in the face of hardship, we can find reasons to be grateful, to find joy in the small things, and to stay focused on our inner well-being. In conclusion, happiness is not something that happens to us, it is something that we create. It is our responsibility to cultivate a mindset of gratitude, release the past, set healthy boundaries, practice self-care, and align our lives with our true purpose. When we take ownership of our happiness, we empower ourselves to live a life that is not defined by external circumstances, but by our inner peace, joy, and fulfillment. Happiness is a choice, and the power to choose it lies within each of us. Embracing imperfection is an essential part of personal growth and fulfillment. In a world that often prioritizes perfection, it can be difficult to accept our flaws and mistakes. We are conditioned to strive for ideal outcomes, flawless appearances, and success without setbacks. Yet the reality is that imperfection is not something to avoid or overcome, it is something to embrace as a natural and valuable aspect of being human. Perfection, in many ways, is an illusion. It sets a standard that is often unrealistic and unattainable. This relentless pursuit of perfection can lead to frustration, disappointment, and a constant feeling of inadequacy. We may compare ourselves to others, believing that we are falling short, or we may try to present an image of perfection to the world, all the while hiding the authentic parts of ourselves. However, the truth is that imperfection is a defining characteristic of humanity. No one is immune to mistakes, flaws, or limitations. These imperfections do not diminish our worth or potential, rather, they are the very things that make us unique and relatable. To embrace imperfection, we must first shift our perspective. Rather than seeing flaws as something to hide or fix, we should view them as opportunities for growth. Mistakes and challenges are not failures, but lessons in disguise. Each misstep is an opportunity to learn, adapt, and improve. By accepting that we are imperfect, we open ourselves up to the possibility of growth and self-compassion. Imperfection becomes not something to fear, but something to welcome as part of the journey toward becoming our best selves. In fact, our imperfections are often the very things that allow us to connect with others. Perfection can create distance, as it may make others feel inferior or unrelatable. When we show our true selves complete with all of our flaws, struggles, and imperfections, we invite others to do the same. Vulnerability is a powerful tool for building authentic relationships and fostering deeper connections. When we embrace our imperfections, we create space for others to embrace theirs, and in doing so, we build a community of understanding and support. One of the most liberating aspects of embracing imperfection is the freedom it brings. When we stop striving for perfection, we can stop living in constant fear of failure or rejection. The pressure to be flawless can be overwhelming, and it often leads to anxiety, self-doubt, and burnout. By accepting that imperfection is not only inevitable but also beautiful, we release the burden of trying to meet unattainable standards. This freedom allows us to be more creative, more authentic, and more at peace with who we are. We no longer need to hide behind a facade of perfection, but can instead show up fully as ourselves, flaws and all. In addition, embracing imperfection helps us cultivate a mindset of resilience. Life is filled with ups and downs, and we cannot avoid the challenges that come our way. However, how we respond to those challenges is what truly matters. When we accept that we are imperfect, we give ourselves permission to make mistakes and to fail. This mindset fosters resilience because we no longer see setbacks as definitive failures, but as temporary obstacles that we can learn from and overcome. Resilience is built on the understanding that we do not have to be perfect to succeed, but that perseverance and the willingness to learn are more important than flawless execution. Embracing imperfection also means letting go of the fear of judgment. Society often places a great deal of emphasis on appearance, success, and achievement. And this can lead to a fear of being judged for not measuring up to certain standards. This fear can be paralyzing, preventing us from fully expressing ourselves and living authentically. When we embrace imperfection, we liberate ourselves from this fear. We recognize that everyone has flaws, and that it is our authenticity, our willingness to be real, that truly matters. In this space of self-acceptance, we are free to live our lives without worrying about the opinions of others. Moreover, embracing imperfection encourages us to be more compassionate not only toward others, but also toward ourselves. We live in a world where self-criticism is often the norm. We are quick to judge ourselves harshly, to point out our flaws, and to focus on what we don't have or can't do. But when we accept imperfection as a part of who we are, we become more forgiving of ourselves. We give ourselves the grace to make mistakes, to learn, and to grow. This self-compassion is essential for maintaining our mental and emotional well-being, as it helps us develop a healthy relationship with ourselves and reduces the negative impact of self-criticism. Another powerful aspect of embracing imperfection is the ability to see beauty in the brokenness. Our imperfections are not something to be ashamed of, but are often what make us unique and beautiful. The cracks in our lives, the mistakes we have made, and the challenges we have faced all contribute to who we are and can be a source of strength. There is a beauty in the process of becoming, of evolving through hardship, learning from our mistakes, and continuously growing into a better version of ourselves. Perfection is static, but imperfection is dynamic. It is the unfolding of a unique story, a story that is constantly being written through our experiences, struggles, and triumphs. Finally, embracing imperfection teaches us to live with humility and gratitude. It reminds us that we are all works in progress and that we are never truly finished. Every day is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become better versions of ourselves. Imperfection allows us to approach life with an open heart, knowing that we do not need to have all the answers or be flawless in every aspect of our lives. We are enough as we are, and we can appreciate the beauty of the journey rather than the pressure of perfection. In conclusion, Embracing imperfection is not about resigning ourselves to mediocrity or accepting failure as a way of life. It is about acknowledging our humanity, accepting our flaws, and recognizing that we are constantly evolving. When we embrace imperfection, we free ourselves from the chains of perfectionism, allowing us to live more authentically, build stronger connections with others, and cultivate a greater sense of peace and joy. Imperfection is not a burden, it is a gift that helps us grow, learn, and live fully.